Super League spotlight shining so bright. Interviews and news, come join the hype.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Super League Spotlight. Rona, you've been joined by a visitor today.
I know, this is our special guest. She's on the 2028 Olympic cycle in three sports. So I just thought I'd invite you along today. Are you going to say hiya? Can you say babble?
Bubble.
Well done. Big
Inspiring
fan.
the next generation.
Indeed.
Well, we've missed. I mean, we had a little break after the Betty Codona Trophy Finals, and there's been loads happening. I love this league for news, and we've got new
It's quite
signs
exhausting.
again. We've got new trophy winners. We've got issues with the men's licenses, which might have a knock-on effect, obviously, to the women's leagues. Um, we've had games in the championship. We've had semi-finals announced. Like what, a couple of weeks?
It has been wild. I feel like I needed the international break, but then that's plenty to talk about as well. And I mean, there's news hot off the press that we'll touch on later. But like you say, it's very exciting. I feel like obviously, and rightly so, there's been a lot of news around the licenses, but there's still a lot of good things going on, especially over on the women's side. Not that there's not good things going on the men's side, but I think that's pulling attention, isn't it, at the moment? So it'll be good to sort of focus our attentions on those positive stories that are out there.
Absolutely. Let's talk about a big positive then, which was the Betty Codona Trophy Finals day,
Yep,
which you obviously attended.
I did indeed.
And I would love to get your experiences on that one because big finals are always good days out, but even more special when the team you support get a win.
I know, it was such a good game, is what I would say. I think that there was no point where you thought one team had it. It very much ebbed and flowed. Yeah, it had everything I think it needed. You had a coach T, you had both teams had some form of lead at some point. It came down to that final shot at the basket. I watched it in slow-mo. Was there a foul potentially if that basket had gone in? The controversy that could have caused. And I also think just in general that the show that was put on in Birmingham, the amount of people that were there, was obviously a lot of school groups in, so you hope that converts them over. The only thing I was gutted about was the volunteers, maybe not just volunteers, but lots of other people had got t-shirts that said Hooper on them, then with the sponsors on the back. So that was like their kit to wear today. And I tried to buy one, but you couldn't. So if
Oh.
anybody was watching this and had a spare Hooper t-shirt, I tried to source one, but I couldn't find the box that they must have come out of.
You're just trying to dig in random
Yeah,
boxes.
yeah, yeah. I was like, where'd you get that t-shirt? And he's like, I'd give you one if I had one. I was like, what does the person look like that has it? So that has the box. But no, it was a really good day, great atmosphere. Yeah, just really enjoyable.
I think the question we all want to know is how much was that Pepsi Max?
Oh, £4.70.
Okay.
That was intense, wasn't it? £4.70 was a lot of money.
No, they're not. They're not cheap. Those big arenas. Obviously, not just basketball. This isn't a basketball thing, but arenas when you go and see music concerts and things, they're not cheap.
I know, and then I was protecting it like it was my firstborn because I'm like, if I knock that over and I've just paid all that money for it, I was like, I will be livid. But no, it was very good. It was worth the journey down and back, and I know everybody that was on the bus. There was a lot of parents of players on the bus, parent of coach, etc. on the bus, and everyone was just equally delighted for the journey. I mean, Oakland's phenomenal team. When you're undefeated, you have to lose at some point, depending what season it is, and she's found the basketball thing and
Basketball.
loves it. Loves the babble. Anyway, so yeah, you're always gutted not to take the win, but there's got to come a time when you lose, and it's just unfortunate. But then Gladiators, they knocked out Sheffield's unbeaten run to get to the final, and then obviously took down Oakland. So they like doing that. So they do.
Yeah, Auckland's kind of looking to bounce back with the cup because they're in the
Yes.
semi-final against Leicester, and
Yep.
Newcastle and Sheffield make up the other semi-final. So Auckland's have got a good chance to not get revenge, but like make amends for not getting that trophy.
Although, like we've talked about, Leicester are the most interesting team this year, aren't they? You did your makeup. So who knows what they will put out? Like, could they go and put out Oakland's? Because I wouldn't put it past them to do it, but I do think that Oakland should win the game. But I think Leicester are the most interesting team that we have.
Yeah. And they're towards the end of February, those semi-finals. So that's one to watch out for in a few
Yes.
weeks. Let's have a conversation about this weekend's action just gone.
Yep,
Again, Auckland's they were involved in the first game of the day against Durham. They made the trip up north
they did.
and ended up winning 52-77. Again, Durham would feel that they were competitive within that game. I know a 20, what was it, 25 points gap.
Hmm.
Um, but Auckland have just got such a they spread out the scoring, they spread out the responsibility within that team, that roster they've got. Even though Sam Ashby got 22, they're just such a well-rounded team.
Yeah, I mean, the key things I said were, Oakland's are always going to be looking for a bounce back win. And it's another second, I suppose, away game in a row. But that's when teams can be at their most dangerous, when they feel like there was something they should have won. Again, though, for Durham, there was no Katie Bennett.
Yeah.
That's a big part for them as well. Not necessarily always a scoring threat, but just, can be quite controlled
Hmm.
out at the guard position. And I think, like you're saying, I was thinking back to what the head coach Lee had said about, competing in quarters and knowing that they're getting there. So I think that's what he'll be pleased with. He took second quarter was a draw, third quarter they were down six. It was that sort of opening and last quarter that sort of killed them. But yeah, I think positives there for them. Oakland's, I would have expected them to get the win and bounce back from that. So fair play to them.
There was a bit of needle in this one, I was there.
Yep. How did
Um,
you enjoy the experience?
oh, it was wonderful. I was on the microphone for in arena kind of commentary, let's say.
Uh-huh.
And when my toes kind of curled up from being really uncomfortable, because that's not really my cup of tea. I like hiding behind a screen. Uh,
Are you a keyboard warrior, Mark?
keyboard, well, yeah, but not in a bad way.
A positive keyboard warrior. I don't think I've heard of that before.
What a keyboard warrior,
A
like
positive keyboard
a
warrior.
positive, yeah, a positive keyboard. No, I think I am, but no, it was something very different for me. But no, do you know what? So Lee Ryan, head coach of Oakland's got a tech.
Mhm.
I haven't seen many of them this year
No.
for the
He got one in
coaches.
the finals as well.
Oh, did he? Oh, he's just saving
Uh-huh.
them up for the second half of the season.
Yeah.
And there was this quote. I didn't see who said it. I was up on a balcony and I couldn't quite see who said it, but I heard the line, "If you don't like the contact, why don't you go and play netball?"
Well, there we go.
Bit of
Although
needle.
having played netball, there is a lot of contact in that old sport.
Yeah.
Especially off the ball, clever, smart contact. But yeah, I would agree with you on that one, that contact is contact. But there's also varying differences of
There
contact,
is.
isn't there? Yes.
So Oakland's going to the international break 10-0 in the league.
Hmm.
Let's move on. The Chloe Gaynor train just keeps on rolling.
It does
They
indeed.
got
And
the win against Leicester, and the
I watched
Tierra
the
Hodges
game.
train just keeps on going too.
It does. And I think though for me, Tia Rogers, I know I feel like I do a disservice and I'm like, she rocked up another double double. But Zoe Willis, best game of her season. She hit two big threes down the stretch that would be necessarily someone you'd expect to be the spark, and like she was, but I thought, she had a really good game. Leicester also without, Sharabu, Julia Chandler, six-person rotation there.
Mm,
Um, that's tight for them. It's not usually as tight they would play. Obviously, they've released a player. So I think the game was there for the taking. Leicester, again, they do this, they go on runs and they
yeah.
look quite comfortable, but Eagles have a really good way of just digging in. First quarter went Eagles' way, second quarter went Leicester's way, and then third quarter went Eagles' way, and then the fourth ended in stalemate. So, I think it was more just Eagles are able to string together more periods of
Mhm.
like good offense and defense, whereas Leicester sometimes can really struggle to score. But then you had Elise with that sort of, was it a travel, was it not? But it was a really nice like step through hook shot 3-pointer. So then they pull things like that out their back pocket. I
Mm,
don't think that was maybe a practice play, but it was a blooming nice shot. So yeah, I think it was an interesting game, and that's those games you've got to win. They could become quite important down the line. If Eagles had dropped a game there, or if Leicester had managed to pick up the win. So I
mhm.
think, yeah, good work to the Eagles getting down there, and liking what Chloe Gaynor's got the team doing and how she's got them performing.
I, I, I love how you've just breezed over Tierra Hodges' 23-17 double double. No, it
I
wasn't just a
know,
double
I
double.
know,
It was a
I
big
know.
double
She's
double.
she's so like she's so powerful, but And I guess that's the thing with greatness, isn't it? Like you
You get
expect
bored
it
of
from her.
it.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's good, and I expect that from her. And she goes about it so frequently and with such just like normality that
Hmm.
it doesn't, she doesn't, it's not like she's like, yes, every time. Yes, I
Hmm.
can't imagine she would do that anyway. That's very Scottish of me. But, she gets it done and she's so powerful, and teams do struggle to stop her. She's got an excellent skill set. She's got a good body on her that she knows how to use. But again, I still don't know, Newcastle, they struggle more from the 3-point line, but I still feel teams are guarding them quite hard at that 3-point line and allowing more of that space inside. It just depends how they're going to match up. This is why I'm not a coach. I'd be like, just back the key. Everybody stand there, fingertips touching. But it doesn't work like that. A lot more zones this year, I feel. I feel like I'm seeing more zones across both the men's and the women's leagues. Yeah, interesting. And they've been quite effective at times as well. So I kind of feel like we went away from zones for quite some time in the basketball world. And I feel like we're seeing more of them in sort of junk defenses. But yeah, Leicester looked like they were playing, was it a 1-3-1 or a 2-1-2? But the person in the middle swinging out quite far. So then that was leaving the gap. So I'm like, that's the last place you want a gap. But who knows? Not me. I just watch and comment
It is interesting though, seeing how kind of basketball evolves in different kind of. I
and
mean,
comes
with all
back.
sports,
And
really, though, isn't it? All
yeah.
sports have like just waves of a certain ideology and a certain way of doing things, and then it kind of goes away for a little bit, but then comes back.
Mhm.
But yeah, right. So Newcastle will be happy with the way things are going under Chloe Gaynor,
Mhm.
obviously. Let's talk about Sheffield and Cardiff. Again, a result that we expected, 98-56.
Mhm.
Just a little aside, I know 50 points is a big thing on this podcast. Cardiff's last three games, 60, 58, 56,
Mhm.
flying.
Bit more offensive power, I would say. Got to work on that defense, but I think, yeah, you've got to be starting to put more points in the basket, and they are. Obviously, new signings all round, which was quite interesting. Interesting that the two teams with the new signings met each other.
Hmm.
So they've been a little bit of what's going to happen, what's going to go. Connie Clark obviously showing some positive signs, 17-6 and one. Yeah, Madison Washington's obviously potentially come back from an injury or something, because she 7.5 minutes. I know she's not featured in a few games, and she's been
Yeah,
a really good, strong inside presence for them. For Sheffield that is, but they got the job done, and that's what you, at the end of the day, what you have to do is win a basketball game, whether it's by
yeah,
one or whether it's by 100, and Sheffield got it done.
yeah. I think when you're playing those teams that you are expected to beat, um, it's one of the banana skins. You got to make sure that you
Yeah.
just make sure you win, and then performance comes afterwards. But someone who it continues to impress, I saw early on the season at Durham, really impressed me. Laura Zalba,
Mm-hmm.
another big performance for her for Sheffield. Um, yeah, looks like a
Team of the
proper.
week. Team
Sorry.
of the week. Team of the week, wasn't she?
Yes, I assume so. Yes, I mean 28 points, 8 assists is a pretty good stat line for that.
I'd take it.
I'd take it.
Take it. I'd take 2 points and an assist, to be honest. But anyway.
I love hearing about these 2 points that you scored.
Oh no, that's not even those. They're
Oh,
etched from my memory. No, I just mean 2 points. Just take 2 points.
100% from the free throw line, remember?
100% from the feet. There we go. That was in a stat I never thought I'd achieve in my life, but taking it.
Right to London and Manchester again. A game we kind of knew what was going to happen as we went into it, but 61-94 in favour of Manchester. Thoughts on this one?
Um, yeah, London looking a bit better. I wonder if they're starting to settle in under, a head coach, Dan. A couple of different players as well. Manchester, I feel like after having a quadruple double, it kind of has edged off a little bit. And also just in general, Manchester, they're looking good, but I feel like they came out ferocious at the start of the season with the new signings and everything that was going
Mm.
on. But again, another new head coach stepping in, and they probably in Ryan Bailey, maybe not expecting it so much. But I think at Manchester, sometimes I think they're stuttering through someone. This obviously isn't a stutter. But yeah, I
33-point
just
win.
no, I know, but 16-13, 24-16, great third quarter, definitely. But I think, yeah, they just need to go out and have some nice, good team convincing performances. Yeah, London I think look like they're improving, which is good. London Cardiff's coming up shortly. I only pick on Cardiff before anyone hates me because they're sitting, with minimal wins as well.
Hmm.
And London's on zero, so but obviously Cardiff now added a player, so I think it's interesting. But yeah, I think Manchester would win. I definitely see them top table. But I know we were getting calls at the start of the season that we should have Manchester first. But we had to make decisions based on what we'd seen for the team rosters at that time, and we hadn't seen enough. But yeah, I think it's good. I think they've still kept a lot of their Brits, and veteran Brits, and Lauren Thomas Johnson, Georgia Anderson, Nicolette, which is good to see. You like to see that, especially when you've got mums. I always now definitely take my hat off to them to be like, fair play, going back to playing the highest level in Britain, whilst
Yeah,
having ones is no mean feat.
no, absolutely. Well, obviously there's a weekend off now, isn't there? And there's no SLBW action, but there is GB action. And
Yes.
we're recording this on Wednesday night. So when this goes out, it'll be tonight. They're playing
Hmm.
Estonia, and then Sunday against Denmark.
Yep.
And I had a quick look. Hoops Fix Women have got a breakdown of.
Yep. Thank you for doing the hard work because we
Yeah,
can't count.
absolutely. So a breakdown of the different wins if they beat
Mhm.
Estonia but lose to Denmark. What could happen
Mhm.
for qualification? So go and check that out because there's lots of different things that could happen depending on who wins which match.
Here's a question. Do you find that more exciting or more annoying
What's
when it's
that?
always
Knowing what's going to happen?
no, the permutations of like this has to happen there for that to happen? Because when I was like double checking my facts, and I was like, cool, so I know like first in the group qualify, but it's a playoff, but it's just the four best second
Four
place
best
teams.
second
So
places.
that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like, do you like that style of jeopardy, or would you rather it was given to teams like, okay, A plays off against B, or yeah, I don't know.
Well, like the top two in each kind of group go through
Uh-huh.
regardless. It
Yeah, or
gives you.
even just
Yeah, I was going to say
sorry.
it gives you something else to talk about, doesn't it?
Fair.
Like, yeah, everyone's saying, "Oh, like, it gets you to dig deeper into the matchups again, I
Hmm.
guess, because you're like, so if they beat Estonia by 30 odd points, that means that they're going to be ahead on the head-to-head record as well as and like it does make you delve a little bit deeper into the actual games, but there's a chance that they qualify, which is really good and positive.
Yes.
And there's
Although
some new names in that GB roster as well.
yeah, and I was going to say though, when you look at the stats for the team, because obviously the roster has changed quite a bit, when you look at the players, Erin McGarrigan has been involved in these qualifiers. There's been a lot of players
Yes.
involved in these qualifiers because I don't think sometimes people realise how long the qualifiers go on for because they are just such short windows, playing
Mhm.
your two games at a time. So yeah, I think it's been a long slog for them, and I hope they get it done and can come perform. Obviously, Tia Adams will be sitting up for Estonia, so that'll be interesting. And I was
Yes.
like, you could have up to 6 SLBW players on the court at once tomorrow night if you've got five, because obviously you've got seven currently in
Yes.
the squad. So you would hope, well, at least six of them should make it. Because I think they were sitting at 13, weren't they, on the roster? And I don't know about injuries or anything.
Yeah,
So
no.
potentially you've got six. And then if his Taya was on the floor, so you'd have up to six of them.
Yeah, it could be exciting.
Good for the league as
Um,
well to be like,
absolutely.
these players are all playing in this league. If they comms, yeah, they will be comms, I'm sure. I'm sure they'll
Yeah.
highlight that sort of thing, which is good for the league.
Yeah, I know there was it a couple of years ago, there was only well, it might be 3 years ago or whatever. I remember there only been like one or two names from the
Mm-hmm.
then WBBL on
Mm-hmm.
the GB roster, so it is more encouraging for the league that we got
Mm-hmm.
6 names, 7 names on that initial roster. A name on there is Holly Winterburn. Now,
Mm-hmm.
there's just been some breaking news on the Twitter world
Yeah.
that
Well
she's
linked.
been signed up to Atlanta Dreams kind of pre-workout
Yeah, training
WNBA
camp.
camp, which is very exciting.
It is indeed. But I think I was maybe expecting it because I was like, when you look at the caliber she's playing with,
Yeah.
and of course their names escape me right now, but within her Besiktas team, you've got several WNBA players there, the experience. We know she can score. She was recruited to Oregon for a reason. That was in Sabrina Ionescu's, time, although she was a freshman. Um, and although she didn't stay there, I think, yeah, Holly is someone who I think has proven that she will score if she needs to, a la the Euro Cup finals. And it's things like that, isn't it? It doesn't matter what you've done to an extent in the 100 practices before, all the games before that. If you can step up in those key moments, that's so important at times, you know, and if coaches know what they're getting, and if you can do that at a young age, she's only going to build on that.
Yeah, no, it'd be amazing to see if she kind of gets a spot on that roster eventually, the impact that she can have, because people have been talking about Holly Winterburn and the WNBA for a few years now.
Mhm.
I know some of the players like Megan Gustafson last year was saying
Uh-huh.
definitely good enough, like that's the next progression that she needs to make. Um, so yeah, it'll be
It's a bit
really
like
exciting.
business as well, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
it's getting your name out there, it's networking, it's playing on teams with players like that and holding your own, being a good teammate. I think, you know, there's so much that goes into it. Because like we know when we talk about, like, you can look at the stats and be like, oh, they didn't do much, but you know from watching the game that actually the impact that player had, who maybe only, you know, had the 4 points, 3 steals, but they were generating so much more. So I think, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. And whether it works out this year or not, it can be a, you know, there's a long way to go. I think Temmie's playing some of her best basketball ever, you know, the past couple
Mhm.
of years. Best WNBA, I think, you know, recently. Yes, so I think it's definitely something to build upon and go from.
Yeah. So an exciting few weeks in British basketball.
It is, I know.
Something I just want to mention before we finish. I think it would be remiss of us not to send our best wishes to the Essex basketball community
Mhm.
and British basketball community for the 4 students who died in that car accident earlier this week. Yeah, really sad news. So our thoughts and wishes are with everyone
Yes.
involved.
Yeah.
But yeah, so. Next week, obviously, we are not an SLBW action, but we have the GB games, and then we'll be back the following weekend for the local derby, Newcastle versus Durham. That's probably the game of that weekend.
Yeah. Thought you might think that.
Yeah, wonder why. With my Newcastle stuff on and put my
You're
Durham head
done.
on. Oh,
Yeah,
what's gonna
and you're
happen?
done on microphone.
What's gonna happen? It's all right, don't worry, that's an away game. I'm safe for that one.
Oh, you could still take the microphone. Just let somebody listen to me.
Yeah. But no, thank you very much, and we'll catch you all on the next one.